remaining with us and staying tuned here at Smart 24 TV. We are still looking at the stock market performances as per the closure of the markets on Friday. That is the 29th of July 2022. And of course, we are in conjunction with Alltex East Africa, the Uganda Securities Exchange, and these are closely working with us and partnering with us to see that we are able to drive business in the world of the financial markets, particularly the stock market and the debt equity market and the debt market, sorry. So that we see, of course, local investments. We're looking at people locally here in Uganda investing and being able to trade on all these particular counters that we are seeing. And your active participation is what will drive this particular growth. And if you're wondering how to get started, as I mentioned, you just simply open an account, your SCD account. And when you open that SCD account, it's absolutely free of charge. And you dial by dialing *165# using your MTN. And you will also choose option number 6, that is financial services. And then you go into you look at the Uganda Securities Exchange. That is option number 5. And the next, of course, the next list that comes up after dialing *165 *6#, and then you'll be able is absolutely just following the prompts. You just have to put in your identification number, that is your name, your passport number, and you're there. You open your account, and then when you get money, you feel you are ready to invest, you can contact a stockbroker, you talk to them. They, of course, will have to also ask you a few questions to know, of course, to know their client, answering using the KYC, and know your client mode of assessment, so they can assess your risk appetite, so they can assess your interests or what you would love to invest in. And these, of course, will be what will be able to push them to give you advice, to give you the knowledge that you need. But as well, you can keep tuned into the show every Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. if you want to learn more about how these entire markets work and how you can get your investment journey started as well. Now, before we go on any further, let's have a look at these other stocks here that have been able to perform on the stock market. We had Centum Investment coming in the top position there after gaining on the stock market by over 30.73%. Now, Centum Investments company is cross-listed from Kenya and trades under the ticker name or the ticker symbol CENT. And the international securities identification number for the company is KE000265. Centum Investments currently is the 13th most valuable stock on the USE with a market capitalization of over 199 billion shillings, which makes it about 0.894% of the entire Uganda Securities Exchange equity market. And then when you look at the Centum counter here on the market, you can see that yesterday or Friday closing market prices were as low as 299.45 Ugandan shillings. And these shares, of course, this share price was after those particular trades, not on Friday necessarily. We can see that the last trading was done on the 7th of July, 2022, after they traded over 100,000 volumes, of course, in terms of shares that were traded, and gained to a price of 317 Ugandan shillings. You can see other traded volumes here and there at 2,700, 211, and the like. So meaning it's registered some kind of performance, but some kind of activity, but not so much basically this year, as you can see. And then when we look at the closing price of this stock, when you look at the closing price of this stock here, the price was 299.45, and this was after a loss from 317.88 after that trade over 100,000 shares. And they have recorded a 10.7% gain over the previous day, losing, of course, a price of about 287.15. Centum began the year, however, as you can see on that graph, with a price of about 444.82 Ugandan shillings, but has also since lost a 32.7% of that price valuation, ranking it the 15th on the Uganda Securities Exchange in terms of year-to-date performance. And of course, shareholders' worries should be compounded by the fact that the company has still lost on the year-to-date. And when we look at the year-to-date loss, we are looking at about a 6% loss in the stock value from actually 30th of June, that is in a 1 month basis. And also when we look at the trading, it is the 8th most traded stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange. And Centum Investments Uganda has traded a total of just about 100,200 shares within 3 months, and with averages of about 20. We have seen also these shares are valued at about 29.1 million shares, with an average of about 1,590 traded shares per session. And we have just seen a volume high of over 100,000 shares that was witnessed on the 19th of July 2022. And of course, when you look at the graph here, things look like going down a little bit, despite the fact that on a daily gain, we are seeing, on a daily performance notice, we are seeing a gain. But we see a steady loss since the year began, from over 444.82 Ugandan shillings. That was the price back in January as we began the new year. And right now, counting losses of over 32% of that price, to that price of right now 299 Ugandan shillings. Centum Investment was founded on March 31st, 1967. And of course, it's dealing in the financial services sector, specifically in the investment services industry. And Centum Investment Company is, of course, headed by the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. James Murigi Moria, and the Managing Director and the CEO of the company since 2008. The Board of Directors is headed by Dr. Donald Kaberuka, who is the Board of Directors chairperson. The board is composed of 11 members, him being the 11th, and of course the other 10 members of that board. Centum, since it deals in the financial services sector, of course competes with companies like National Insurance, companies like DFCU Bank, Equity Bank Limited, and compared to all these companies, in terms of when you look at year-to-date performance, it is still ranking the least on the list, of course, that we are having here of all the people dealing in financial services. Now, looking at, for example, NIC, that is National Insurance Company, at a gain of a year-to-date gain of 17.7%. Looking at Bank Limited at 2.09% gain, and looking at 5.52% loss for DFCU Bank and the like. So we are seeing that amongst the competitors, it is still doing not so well at the bottom position there for Centum Investment Company. Now, that is the counter for DFCU. We looked at DFCU earlier on, but just wanted to give you a picture of how the prices have moved. You can see beginning the year, 580, and then a very sharp decline in January, in February actually, and then a steady price there from February through March, and then around the middle of that March, you see that we crossed 560 line and then moved into 555, and that has been the price for some time. You can see that ladder there coming down to 548 after Friday's loss of 2 shillings of the price of DFCU stock, and that was a 0.36% loss on the counter there at DFCU Bank. And of course that explains what's happening at the company. Like I said, DFCU Bank recently during its annual general meeting, the shareholders were unable to take back a dividend, and of course the company explained that this is due to various factors, including recovery from the pandemic and the like, and several other reasons that of course are between the DFCU Bank managers and the shareholders, and they agreed not to actually issue a dividend this year, and that of course could have driven the market to where we are seeing it at the moment right now. And DFCU Bank, for example, is a company that has a locally listed bank here, and it's a company that many people would invest in if they are looking at maybe investing in the financial services sector of Uganda. Some people are just passionate really about how certain financial sectors are doing, how certain maybe oil industries are doing, and they would want to invest more. So very many factors drive people to invest in the stock market, and definitely we can still see more people investing despite the fact that a particular stock could be going down as well because of the various interests and likes of the customers. Now let's look at the MTN stock here. MTN came out as the second bottom loser, and MTN lost by about 0.33%, and it lost to a price of 185.06. And on the Uganda Securities Exchange, MTN is the second most valuable stock, as of course we all know about that particular stock for MTN. And MTN Group is a leading margin group operator connecting subscribers in over 22 countries across Africa and across Asia as well. And it's listed on several exchanges because it has subsidiaries all over these countries. We have MTN Uganda, MTN Nigeria, and MTN South Africa, and so on, with the headquarters, of course, in South Africa. It's listed on several exchanges like the Nigerian Stock Exchange. It's listed on, for example, South Africa. It's listed on several other exchanges in Ghana and the Uganda Securities Exchange. Now, in Uganda, it has been listed since the 6th of December 2021, and it began, of course, the year with the price of over 200 shillings after, of course, that successful IPO that most people at least witnessed. And currently, the second most valuable stock on the stock market, with, of course, prices ranging from 185 to 180 to 190, and the highest price we have seen at least is 200 shillings on this particular counter. And the current market capitalization of the stock is 4.15 trillion Ugandan shillings, and which is about 18.6% of the total USE equity market. As you can see on the graph, that's the movement of the prices of the MTN stock from 200 shillings at the beginning of the lowest we have seen of 160 around February, and then back to the 180 mark, and between 180 and 200, that's 185 Ugandan shillings worth of the stock there on the MTN counter. Yesterday, on Friday, it traded a total volume of over 266,225 shares, and they were worth 49.3 million. And the current market capitalization of 4.15 trillion is about 22.4 billion shares rich. And based on 1 week performance, the counter has gained by 0.03%. And based on a 4-week, when you look at the 4-week performance, that's a month ago, we have seen the prices go up by 3.91%. But on the 3 months basis, the company has lost about 0.4%. And it has recorded a drop of 0 that due to the previous closing price of 185.68. That was on Thursday, and then closing on Friday at 185.06, as you can see, as you have seen there on that particular graph for MTN. And MTN began the year with a total price of 194.99 Ugandan shillings, but has since lost 5.09% of the price valuation, ranking it the 8th on the Uganda Securities Exchange in terms of year-to-date performance. MTN Uganda is the 3rd most traded stock on the USE over the past 3 months. So if you're looking at trading, you're seeing that they have quite a good activity on the market. And you can see volumes as high as 266.225 that was traded just last Friday. And but the highest volume, as you can see there on the table, is about 2.11 million. Of course, it's not indicated, but it's 2.11 that were transacted on the 12th of July 2022 within this particular period. And on average, the shares that are traded per session are amounting to over 212,355 in number. And of course, MTN Uganda, as you can see, prices are very much stabilizing a little bit between 185 and 190 at the moment. And it's providing a very good activity on the market. And as we highly anticipated during its IPO, MTN has not disappointed at all. Of course, being the 2nd most valuable, but also the 3rd most traded stock gives it a little bit of maybe edge compared to its other competitors on the market. Of course, it has no direct competitor dealing in telecommunications on the stock market, but at least when you look at other people dealing in the financial services sector and the like, MTN Uganda is really doing quite well on the market. Now, let's look at some other people here who had some activity, and we can go to KCB Bank. KCB Bank came in with a total gain of 11.42 Ugandan shillings after a 0.88% gain to close the day with a price of 1,304.8 Ugandan shillings. And as you can see on the graph, the stock has been trading at high prices this year of about 1,400. And currently, from the year-to-date performance, you can see that there's a significant loss there in the year-to-date analysis for this stock on the market. And KCB Bank is a subsidiary of the Kenyan-based KCB Group. That is a commercial bank in Uganda. And the bank opened its business in 2007 in November at Commercial Plaza in Kampala, and it offers fully fledged universal banking products that are tailored for the Ugandan market. Now, KCB, when you look at performance in the terms of you can see that they didn't trade any volumes on Friday, so meaning the price moved due to other factors, but they have a total of 2.98 billion shares that are outstanding, and the market capitalization is 3.89 trillion Ugandan shillings. And currently, based on their performance on the stock market, they closed their last day of trading Wednesday, and that was the last day they traded at 1,503.12 on the Uganda Securities Exchange. However, they began the year with a price of 1,414.32, but have since lost 7.74% of that price valuation, ranking them the 10th on the Uganda Securities Exchange in terms of year-to-date performance. Shareholders' fears, however, may be allayed by the 11% increase in the KCB share price since June 30th. When you look at June 30th there, you can see that the prices were quite very low, but now coming back to the 1,300s, 1,200s back then. And we can see that this makes it the fourth in terms of monthly performance based on this particular data. That is KCB Bank for you, another gainer there who came out on top on the Uganda Securities Exchange. Moving on to Equity Bank Limited, who came in at the top as well, after gaining about 79.92 Ugandan shillings and gaining by about 5.38%. Equity Bank Limited currently has a price of 1,564.13, and this company particularly is the most valuable stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange, meaning it has the biggest share of the equity market at USE. And this share goes up to about 26% of the total, and that brings it to 5.79 trillion of over the 22 trillion that are listed, the shares that are listed on the Uganda Securities Exchange. And based on their performance here, we don't see volumes that were traded much here. We see that the shares outstanding 7 billion shares, and the total of the shares, the market capitalization, that is 5.79 trillion. And Equity Group Holdings definitely has had, of course, a fair share of competitors on the market. Looking at KCB Bank, looking at Bank of Baroda there, looking at Stanbic Bank Uganda, National Insurance Corporation, DFCU. You can see that most of them are losing as well on the year-to-date performance, at KCB coming in at a 7.74% loss, Bank of Baroda at an 11% loss, and then 19.4% loss for Stanbic Bank Uganda, and National Insurance Corporation at 17.7% gain. The only gainer there on the market at 6 shillings. And then you can see DFCU at a 5.52% loss, and so on and so forth. Those there are some of the competitors for this counter, and you can trade on this counter. It trades on the Uganda Securities Exchange. And these were not the only counters trading last Friday. If you look out for other counters, we can see and monitor and see that Bank of Baroda traded at 84. Not have any volumes trading on the market as of the closure of those markets last Friday. Batu, that is British American Tobacco at Uganda at 15,000, also did not trade any volumes. And then Centum at 299.45, gaining at a 38% gain, 38 Ugandan shillings gain, also did not have any trading there. The only company that had trading was DFCU Bank. We also had MTN Uganda. MTN Uganda traded a total of 266,225 shares. And then you have Stanbic Bank as well with some activity. But as you can see, the prices on your screen, those were that's how the prices actually were able to end the day. That is last Friday, and those prices particularly have been able to open the stock market this very morning at exactly 9 a.m. and it will close at exactly 1 p.m. during the day today. And of course, that gives you a brief summary. We can of course summarize this data by giving you the total number of shares that were traded on Friday, and these shares were about 566,251 shares. Of course, the market value of these shares at about 59,667,000 Ugandan shillings. And then compared with the previous day, the data showed an improvement, a slight decline in volume, a 45% decline in turnover. There was no improvement at all in this data. And the current market capitalization for USE, that is Uganda Securities Exchange, is currently 22.3 trillion. Thank you for remaining with us. We're going to take another quick break, and when we return with the Nairobi Stock Exchange and stories concerning, of course, how the markets have been, and also the New York Stock Exchange. We are looking at what happened on the New York Stock Exchange that drove it into the positives this month, being the best performance we've seen since the year 2000. Stay with us. We'll be right back.